and welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is Monday. It is July 10th, 2023. I was going to say 2017. Does it seem like 2020? It's not. Whatever. It's 6:30. It's time to call to order this meeting of the Burnsville Planning Commission meeting. And tonight's meeting is being held both virtually and in person. And during the meeting, we will have, sorry, let me get my script in front of me. You would want to do this the best way last time. Anyway, as chair, I'll be leading today's Planning Commission meeting, and the public is welcome to participate throughout the meeting. Members of the public may attend the meeting either joining via Zoom or they can be in here in person. Additional instructions on how to participate are located on the city's website, which is at burnsvillemn.gov on the public meeting calendar. As usual, tonight's meeting is also being viewed on Burnsville BC TV. And if you are unable to participate in this evening and would like to bring in commentary, please feel free to email staff or send us a letter through the mail right to City Hall. You can participate tonight on Zoom, as I mentioned earlier. That's at zoom.us/join. You type in the meeting ID 827-6687-7978. Once you're logged in to the meeting, please use the chat feature to tell the moderator which item you wish to speak to. You can also call into the meeting. Our phone number is 651-372-8299. Again, the meeting ID would be the same. It's 827-6687-7978. Maybe you couldn't grab a pen. That's okay. You can always go to our website again, burnsvillemn.gov, on the public meeting calendar. All that information will be there. I will let people know when we are in the public hearing that they can just hit *6 and let the moderator know which item they wish to speak to. If you're speaking by phone, please turn down the device you're watching the meeting on. If there's going to be a timing delay, it will throw everything off if you keep that up and loud. With that, we should have received agenda. It was emailed early this time. Mr. Trzynski sent it out to us. Any changes to the agenda, commissioners? Any changes, staff?
No changes from staff.
Oh, seeing none, I'm looking for a motion. Commissioner Braddock?
Motion to approve the agenda.
A motion made by Commissioner Braddock. Do I have a second? Commissioner Awad?
I'll second the motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Braddock, second by Commissioner Awad. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And it passes. With that, we go on to, we had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and I believe that was on the, was it 26th or something along those lines? The 22nd. 26. Yeah, I was right the first time. And those meeting minutes should have been in the packet. I hope you had a chance to read them. Any changes to those meeting minutes, Commission? Seeing none, let's change it over to staff. Any changes?
No changes.
No changes. I'd be looking for a motion. Commissioner Timmerman?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Timmerman. Do I have a second? Commissioner Anderson?
I second that.
Second by Commissioner Anderson. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Again, approved. Move on to number 3. And I think I have the wrong agenda up in front of me. Do you by chance have it there?
We don't, because I am in the item. You got it?
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. And that item is a public hearing application for Sustainable Safari LLC for planned unit development.
Number three.
That's what I meant. Election of chair and vice chair. Holy cow,
Well,
guess
after
who's
that-
going to get voted out now?
After that,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
making a motion.
Any rate, I have held this chair for 2 years now, and I don't feel it's appropriate for me to continue on. I love doing it. It was a lot of fun doing it, even beyond today's spectacle. I was hoping to do a little bit better today. That's okay. Anyway, I will not be accepting any nominations for chair tonight, but I'd be looking for a new chair. So with that, we're going to open up the nominations. If you have a nomination, please raise your hand. Any nominations for chair?
Point of order, if I may.
Mr. Walls.
Since we do have, a full quorum here and full attendance, I still get to participate in this election, correct?
No, I believe not.
I do not?
Correct, since we have the full amount here.
Okay. So my opinion doesn't matter.
It matters to some people, just not to us.
We're still glad you're here.
We are glad you're here, Commissioner Wallace, because one of us could go down. You don't know. Commissioner Braddock,
I'd like to make a nomination.
who would you like to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Ali Yatwad.
Well, a motion's made to elect Aaliyah Wad as our new chair. Do I have a second? I don't think I need a second. I need to throw an election. So with that, all in favor of Commissioner Wad being our new chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Hearing none, I would like to congratulate our new chair, Commissioner Aaliyah Wad.
Just for the record, I would have voted for you as well.
Appreciate that.
Nice. Because that's important too. And with that, I'm going to move on to our next position, which is our vice chair. Any nominations for vice chair?
You're not the chair anymore.
Commissioner Awad.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Braddock as to be vice chair.
Commissioner Braddock. Okay. Nomination's been made for.
If you
Commissioner
accept, of course.
Braddock. Consider the challenge. With that, we have that nomination. All in favor of Commissioner Braddock as our new vice chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous, I believe.
Yeah, for the record, I would have voted.
You voted for because she has to abstain, so does that mean you get to get in there? I don't know. That's a good question. Anyway, no. Anyway, congratulations, Commissioner Karen Braddock as our new vice chair. Vice Chair Braddock.
Do I still get to sit next to you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Good
Did you hear
deal.
that?
Okay, I'll keep that in
We got the
mind.
seating order put together. Everything's going to be great. With that clumsy interference, I am going to hand it over to Commissioner Watt to take over. How do you feel about that? Chair Watt,
Okay.
are you comfortable with that, or do you want me to continue for tonight?
I was not prepared, but what's the process? Is that the process? Or is it effective at the next meeting?
Yeah, so you have the ability to take over right now. Otherwise, you can allow Commissioner John to continue chairing through this meeting if you would prefer.
Have you seen what I've done so far? I'm more than happy to. Okay.
Please, please continue on.
Well, good deal with that. I would like to move on to the next item on our agenda then. And I'm gonna borrow that real quick, if you don't mind. Because I came prepared today. Oh my gosh. It's a public hearing for the application of Sustainable Safari LLC for a planned unit development amendment for an indoor petting zoo located at 915 County Road 42 West within the Burnsville Center Mall. Here to present is our planning. This is Sharon Madden. Ms. Madden, the floor is yours. That's how I'm going to go out. That's great.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Planning Commissioners. Actually, can that come back to me?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're passing notes. I didn't
Yep,
realize.
thank you. So as mentioned, tonight we have a public hearing within the Burnsville Center Plan Unit Development for Sustainable Safari LLC. To start off, I'm sure you're very familiar with the Burnsville Center property and location. Located just south of County Road 42. It's our main commercial center, shopping mall that's been in place for since the 70s, and the application that we're looking at tonight is related to a zoning and land use, which is not currently listed within the mixed-use zoning district, which is the mall center's zoning property. It is a use that's mentioned within the city code, stating that the city council has the ability to issue a permit for a zoo-type use, provided that all applicable zoning controls are completed. So this plan unit development amendment to allow the use is the zoning control to approve that. So what we are looking at this evening is a space within the Burnsville Center Mall, and with the maps that Kevin has made, he's kind of put it approximately where it would be located. So it is in the former Old Navy space, which is next to that JCPenney anchor slot. So within the mall, they would be looking at approximately maybe 17,000 square foot of space. So if you're not familiar with the applicant group, Sustainable Safari does currently operate out of Maplewood Mall, and they have since 2019. And this would be a second location for their business to go into the Burnsville Center. And it's something that they've been coordinating with that ownership group for a number of months and with staff as well, kind of discussing this potential PUD amendment application. From a zoning perspective, as I mentioned, the list itself is not listed in the mixed-use zoning district or under other districts, but it's mentioned in the police regulations title of the overall city code under animal regulations that we would be able to review this use for the zoning controls. So within their space, within the mall, they have their overall zoo, an interactive zoo space. They also have shown that there would be a room available mouse right here for a party room. They have what they're calling this an education center as well for more assembly type spaces within their overall leasable space. But otherwise, it would be entered from the central portion of the mall, would not have an exterior entrance for customers. And they would be able to then navigate through the various animal exhibition areas once they have purchased their tickets for their visit to the space. From a parking perspective, the Burnsville Center has shared parking between all of the properties within the planned unit development. With this type of entertainment-based use, we don't feel that this would have a significant parking demand beyond what is already there. The overall space within the Burnsville Center is still considered to have more parking overall than would be required from the minimum standards of the ordinance, and that would have been required within their planned unit development that established that shared parking. Within the space itself, I'll defer to the applicant for more questions about the specifics about business operations at the time that we can open up for questions for them. I would ask, though, that the questions be featured mainly about how it relates to the zoning and land use of the property, as this is a kind of a unique use here that we haven't seen before, but stick to zoning if we can. Otherwise, from a PUD zoning perspective, there are no deviations that are requested as part of this amendment. It is strictly for the use itself of the what we're calling the indoor petting zoo use for this applicant. And from a benefits perspective, staff feels that the proposed use is unique to Burnsville. It would draw in new customers and visitors. The applicant had mentioned in their narrative letter that they've seen great success in a variety of visitorship to their existing location at Maplewood Mall, as being a kind of a destination for specific visitors that may not have otherwise come to Maplewood itself or Maplewood Mall. The lease of the vacant space would increase economic viability of the mall and reduce underutilized parking, which is a goal of the Burnsville Center Village vision. And that the proposal is consistent with the city's goal of a diverse and creative retail mix within and around the Burnsville Center. And also that the proposed use would meet mixed use zoning district's intent of providing entertainment and or recreational, let's say, within close proximity to transit, which does serve the Burnsville Center property as a whole. And as mentioned, no deviations from the zoning ordinance for this use, as it is internal within the Burnsville Center Mall. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the PUD amendment, subject to the condition, which is standard for PUDs within the city, that conditions of previously approved PUDs remain in full force and effect. This is a public hearing this evening, and I can stand for questions if necessary.
Well, thank you, City Planner Madden. Appreciate it. Any questions, commissioners? Ms. Madden, you showed where the outlay of the mall, the area. Where is this located in the mall itself?
So it is, and this is of course aerial, but it is located on I would say the walk-in level of the mall, that ground level, former Old Navy space.
Okay, so on the backside.
On the backside,
Set
so
by
this right
JCPenney's.
here, this red line separates the Burnsville Center property from the JCPenney
Okay.
property. And their entrance would be close to where we've got the arrow kind of going.
Sure.
Pearl Vision's right there at the door.
Oh yeah, Pearl Vision, the eye doctor is right there by the door, or
Okay.
the glasses.
Okay. And it has this private entrance and private exit and no mall entrance?
No, it has a mall entrance.
Okay.
But it is close to the edge of the building.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Seeing no questions by commissioners, it is a public hearing. It is 6:45. I'd like to open up said public hearing. If you have joined us on Zoom, please tell the moderator you'd like to speak to this issue. If you're on the phone, dial *6. If you're here in person and would like to speak to this issue, the podium is yours. Please come on and step up and let us know what you think. And it doesn't look like anybody's on Zoom. I would like to take this time, actually, some of our applicants are here, and if they would like to step up and come speak on the behalf of the property. If you could just state your name and your address for the record, please.
My name is Bob Pills. I'm the owner of Sustainable Safari. My address, we're up in Scandia, Minnesota, is where
Okay.
we live. So, coming for you, just looking for the change. We want to briefed on it a little bit before we started. Just, this is our second location. My first location in Maplewood's just been very, very successful. We brought about 100,000 people to Maplewood Mall that wouldn't have come before. So we interview, kind of question our guests, so we kind of know where they're coming from. And we expect kind of the same thing down here in Burnsville to really become a draw for the Burnsville Center and help it come back to life. So we intend to have around 200 different animals. We brought little KJ, as some of you have seen today, little baby Roo. But we have also many other smaller species we focus on. We don't do the lions or the bears or stuff like that, of course. Smaller things like Coatimundis, Kinkajous, Genet, Cusamancies. A lot of them you probably never heard of that I just said. And that's kind of our goal, is to get you introduced to some really unique species that are really in need of our doing some different things in the world to help them survive too. So and that's kind of why we have the name Sustainable Safari, to build an education program around the animals that we do house and show. So.
It looks like KJ's getting some camera time here. So cute.
Anything else I can?
Appreciate that. Any questions for the applicant, commissioners? Commissioner Timmerman?
Thanks for coming. I have a number of questions that, I just want to provide a little context for, and that is that this is the one opportunity for the city of Burnsville residents to hear from your business and understand a little bit more, not only about the project and what we're looking at, but also to make sure that it's a safe opportunity for Burnsville and for kids and families to attend. And so
Sure.
I had asked last week for staff to reach out to you and try to get some information about your licensing.
Mm-hmm.
Could you provide us some information about your licensing?
Yep.
In our background? I believe it was USDA, DNR, as well as Fish and Game, and one other organization.
Board of Animal Health.
Board of Animal Health.
Did you get that email, Kevin?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. And I sent you a whole bunch. Okay. I'll just reiterate then. Yeah. So USDA is the main license, federal government, United States agricultural, and we've had that since 2002. That's the main license we use for public display and handling and breeding, selling, that kind of thing. We can't do anything without that license. So we've had that one again since 2002, when we were originally called Cockadoodle Zoo. So we transitioned right after COVID to Sustainable Safari. They do random inspections. So I've had the same inspector for about 20 years, well, since the beginning. And she's very, very strict, very, very good. And she teaches us at the same time as scolds us. So it's kind of nice sometimes. And but that's the main one. DNR is native animals. I've had that one again for about the same time. That's in our case, it would be raccoons, foxes, squirrels, opossums, smaller mammals again. And to be honest, I've not met my inspector in 20 years. He's not shown up. I just pay the fee and they send me the license. So, but they're governed under they look for the same stuff as USDA, so I think they just kind of go off of that with my reports that we pass every time, so. And the DNR is now the whitetail deer. They brought whitetail deer back to the DNR, and at the current Maplewood, we have 5 baby whitetail deer. We bring in new whitetail deer every year. We bottle raise them for a company in southern Minnesota who has a big deer farm, and then we bring them back once they're out of the fun age, the baby bottle age for us. Board of Animal Health is another license. They do all the other cervidae. Now, cervidae is the deer family, which includes moose, whitetail deer, fallow deer, muntjac. So everything outside the whitetail deer, Board of Animal Health now regulates, and we have the muntjac, which is part of that license. So when they do random inspections, I've met their inspectors. They're really nice, very thorough, and so that one's also very good. Fish and Wildlife covers all endangered species through the Lacey Act, and that we're just tracked on that. Any endangered species that we do get, we have to go through that process for licensing, and they just track it all. So never really met an inspector for that. We just do everything through paperwork with headquarters, whatever. So, okay.
Thank you. I've got a couple additional questions, Chair, if I may.
Go ahead, Commissioner Timmerman.
So, in the same vein as far as considering the health and well-being of our residents, can you talk to me about the insurance policies that you've had in place either in Maplewood or that you anticipate having in place in Burnsville?
Yeah, it's the same policy. It's a national policy for zoos, entertainment. Same company writes the policy for Valley Fair. So I'm just guessing that, but they do the big parks, the big entertainment items. It's called K&K Insurance, based out of Indiana, and we've had them for the whole time I've been doing mobile exhibiting. That policy, I believe, has a $2 million coverage and per incident kind of thing. I'm not the insurance expert, but that's who we use. Never had to use it, never had to make a claim. So
Wonderful.
Yep.
Great, thank you. And then the last question is related to kind of what you were speaking about your name, Sustainable Safari. I'm wondering, beyond the education component, in the background, it sounded like there was some potential for nonprofit giving back to other animal organizations. Can you talk about your work in that area?
it's being developed. So when I created Sustainable Safari, I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be known as a petting zoo. Cockadoodle Zoo was a fun name, but it really was kind of a hard sell for nonprofit style. So we do have a 501c3 in Sustainable Safari. We run as a for-profit, but we have that segment off. We haven't found a real definite use for it yet, as our sustainable messaging is being created and broadened, and it's just ground floor with that right now. So I don't have a great answer for what your question is, but part of what we're creating, it's hard to explain from my heart where we want to go, but with another level, I hit that in the letter you didn't get, was we're working on accreditation through the Zoo Association of America, and they are requiring conservation programs in order to be part of an accredited facility. So we have a lot of work we're doing in a very short time to create all our programs that have to do with that. It was kind of an incomplete answer, but we're working towards a very significant impact on conservation through our company. So
I appreciate that. I mean, I think personally for my family, that's a big draw, is the conservation side of things. I mean, the petting zoo, you kind of alluded to that. It's, the Cockadoodle Zoo, I mean, it's cute, it's kitschy, but I think the conservation side of things is going to draw a lot of people in as well.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I appreciate that you're
and
researching and going.
Dave
down
knows
that
I've been struggling for a long time trying to just get it out of my head what that means.
Yeah.
So, and once it finally hits, it's going to be pretty extraordinary, I believe. So
Cool.
I just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah,
It's coming.
you'll get there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Any other questions for the applicant? How do you handle the smells and things of that nature? Cleanup, those types of things?
Sarah's going to get mad. Those aren't zoning questions. So I hit on that a little bit before. So our ventilation system is pretty crazy at Maplewood. So It's a reverse air system, negative air system, so no air actually goes back out the front door. At Maplewood, I'm using an example. So the air is all sucked from the common areas through our doors, right out the roof in the back of the mall. And that's cycled every 6 minutes. And our space there is around 12,000 square feet. So every 6 minutes, 12,000 square feet of air is shoved right out the door. So that really helps control the air and the smell. On top of that, every day we clean and scrape, bleach, sanitize pretty much the whole zoo. So we have we're crazy cleaners. We have to be because we know we're in a mall, so we're on top of it. I don't know how else to say it. All the shavings go right to a farm. We have a local farm that we dump them on. He composts them. So that's part of our name, Sustainable.
Great, thank you, I appreciate that. For me, it's just people want to visit the mall, they want to make sure that there's not going to be orders or anything
Yeah.
like that nature being brought.
And we don't want it either because this only works if our ventilation works.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and the ventilation we have spec'd out for Burnsville it's going to be a dream in there. It's going to be its own climate. So when we started Maplewood, I talked, I think, to one of you guys earlier is about Maplewood or Mall of America was our goal, and the system was designed pretty intense for there, but we just couldn't afford it. So we started Maplewood with a simple system. They approved it. Now we know what works and doesn't work. For the new one, we've designed an intense system, and it's 5 times the cost of what Maplewood was, and it's just going to work. It's going to be 70 and sunny in there. Well, 70, not too much sun, but it's going to be fabulous. So we're excited for that.
And I wanted to note, I mentioned it in my background, but didn't mention just now that our inspection staff did have a site visit to the existing Maplewood Mall location that did include our plumbing, mechanical, and HVAC inspector and plan reviewer. And so they have already been coordinating with the applicant for plan preparation for the building permit and the plumbing permit and mechanical permit stage on these systems. So it is something that they've already been in discussion for several months with our other inspection staff about.
Great. So, and that's all public now. This is great. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming in. And unless any other commissioners have questions, we really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, it's 6:57. I'm going to close that public hearing. And I'm going to look for comments, questions, concerns, speaking items. One thing, I just want to say thank you for coming to Burnsville. I don't think the Mall of America deserves you. We're a great place. You'll be a great draw to our mall that we need something to pull people in. And this is one of those things that the big box stores online can't replicate. So this is a great asset to our mall. So thank you so much for coming to Burnsville and choosing Burnsville. We're very happy to have you.
Very excited.
Good deal. Anybody else have comments, motions? Commissioner Timmerman.
I would like to add to the motion that's on the table, just that we confirm and verify licensing. So if that can be included in the motion, but I will just make the motion then if there's not comments or discussions on that. All right, can we get that back up, please? All right, so I would make a motion that the Planning Commission recommend to City Council approval of the planned unit development amendment, subject to the following conditions. The condition of previously approved PUD shall remain in full force and effect, and adding a second that the applicable licenses are confirmed.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Commissioner Anderson.
I'd like to second that.
Second by Commissioner Anderson. With that, we're going to hold a vote. Any other discussions? Seeing none, it'll be a vote. There's a motion by Commissioner Timmerman, second by Commissioner Anderson. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Unanimous. It ends up on the consent agenda at the City Council meeting on June 18th, I believe, which is next Tuesday at 5:30 here in these very chambers. Am I right?
July 18th.
Did I say June? Oh my gosh, today is just kind of,
You're setting a bar for Chair Awad.
Not a very high one,
very
not a
low
very
bar.
high one, very low bar, and that's okay. With that, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is updates. Any updates, commissioners? Any updates, staff?
No updates from staff, other than that your next planning commission meeting is, I'm not prepared either. July 22nd, I believe, later this month.
Yeah, okay. All right, with that, we'll take it to our next item on the agenda, which is adjournment. Commissioner Watt has something to say.
I just want to, before I make a motion to adjourn, I just want to thank you, Commissioner Johns, for your leadership over the last couple of years. Commissioner Timmerman, you were the vice chair, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
it was.
well, you didn't,
Nobody really knew because Commissioner John did such a nice job.
yeah.
I never went
Kept
down.
showing up.
Never- Yeah, kept showing up, yeah.
Couldn't get him to leave.
Couldn't get him out of here. You guys tried.
Thank you both, for all your service, and let's have a fun year.
Yes, thank you, appreciate it.
So with that, I move,
Yeah.
that we adjourn.
A motion has been made to adjourn. Do I have a second? Commissioner Braddock,
I will second.
second by Commissioner Braddock. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's all we have. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us.